Hello everyone, Nicolette here. So today I wanted to talk a bit about makeup. I had mentioned that I might in one of the previous videos. So during the week of prayer, the pastor, the first one, Pastor Dole, had a bit of like a question and answer session where I think it was for AY, and AY, for those who don't know, is Adventist youth. So after Divine Hour, after we eat lunch, in the evening before the Sabbath ends, the youth get together and we do like some kind of program that's spiritual based, where we can learn something and be together and socialize until we wait for the Sabbath to end. Well, that's my understanding of it. If there's something else involved, then those who have been Adventists much longer than I could definitely enlighten me and others on the matter. Well, in any case, so we had the question and answer. So he had everyone write a question or two and put it in a basket, and he went and picked one each time and answered it. One of the questions was pertaining to makeup, and whether, so the person asked whether it was okay to wear makeup. So the thing is, so he said it was fine, but I had answered and I had talked and I said I don't think it was fine. And the reason why I had mentioned it was because, so I believe the world knows what Christians should be like. And when I say the world, I mean people who are non-Christians. So whether they read about it in the Bible or it's just innate in them to kind of compare themselves to us, they know what they do or they know what they've seen, and they expect us to do differently than they themselves do, right? So I feel like a person would look at you and say, are you a Christian? Or ask, are you a Christian? Depending on what you look like. And at times, they will not be able to hear you speak or profess or testify about your God. But just by looking at you, they can see through your actions, through your deeds, and your appearance, whether you're a Christian or not. And I believe that's what God would like, right? He wants us to act like Christians, speak like Christians, and look like Christians. And that's one of the reasons why I believe in the Bible, where it does talk about the Israelites, and he says to remove the jewelry and the apparels, and don't braid your hair, and don't do this. He did not want the children of Israel to look like the Egyptians or the place where they had been, because they had adapted or acquired some of the things of the Egyptians. So he wanted them to remove those semblances of Egypt, those things that attached them, that made them resemble the Egyptians, and he wanted them to resemble a peculiar people, a different people, a separate people. He wants us to be special, to stand out, not to be like others, right? And then the other reason, which I did mention, so that's what I had said. So the other reason I did not mention is, I think, God makes us the way that we are, right? Whatever color, whatever tint, whatever shade you are, he made you that way. Your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your lips, your shade, your skin, your hair, right? He makes them a certain way, and they are your natural given appearance, right? And so when you try to alter them, to change the color or the shade or the appearance, then in essence you're telling God that, I don't really like how you made me. I would have preferred you to have done it differently, right? So I don't wear foundation, I don't wear makeup, but it's lucky for me that I don't need it, right? I don't get pimples and things like that. So with that said, so the second point, as in the way that God made us, it would be preferable that we remain that way so that we can honor God and say thank you. And, I accept the way that you have made me. I appreciate it. I love it, because you're my God and I accept your creation. But there are those who have blemishes, whom because of sickness and because of sin in and of itself has caused their features to be a certain way that they don't like, right? So I don't have blemishes, I don't have pimples naturally. Ever since I was a teenager, I never did get, if I did have a pimple or two, they would go away. And I never popped them. And people, don't pop your pimples. Don't do it, because then it leaves marks on your face, right? So yeah, so I never did pop my pimples, the one or two that I got. So I was quote unquote blessed in that factor. But there's so many people who are not. I wouldn't say they're not blessed, but they do have blemishes. So if you do wear foundation, if you do wear concealer, it would be for that purpose, to bring your face to the state where, it would be pleasing to the point where you can get closer to the way it was before you had those blemishes, the natural look, right? Because I don't think, a person with pimples, that's natural. That's something, like if you have a skin condition or a sickness, it's a sickness. It's not natural. So if you go to a doctor and they give you a fading cream for that, I think that's okay. If you're concealing a pimple, I think that's okay, right? Because a lot of things happens to us because of sin, right? So in the same way, the blood of Jesus covers us, right? And you would like God to conceal your sin, to forgive your sin, to take your sin away. If you wear makeup to conceal a deformity of sorts, something you don't like, then I think that's okay. But if you are hyper, concealing, or like you do too much, like, people's face are not, a blush is not naturally red, right? So people who wear blush, and then, when you blush for a time. You're embarrassed, you're happy, you laugh, and then you blush, and then it goes away. It's not constantly there, right? So that's something, right? And then lips, okay? So some people are naturally made, created with a pinkish shade, of lips, but they're not created with red lips. Or if they are, okay, they are, whatever. But blue lips, green lips, no one is created that way. Blue hair, purple hair, you're not created that way. Black people, for instance, are not made with blonde hair. And those who are albinos or albinos, whatever, okay, they are. So then they have it. It's not more for them. It's okay. Eye color, white people, whatever, and some colored too, are born with blue eyes and things like that, different shades. So that's fine for them. Okay, so if you were to wear contacts, you wear the one that, to correct your eyes, because you're not really, it's not normal that you don't see. Sin causes you to be blinded or to lose your sight. So I wear corrective vision glasses, or if I wore contacts, that's fine. That's correcting a deformity, right? But if I were to wear blue or hazel, then that's telling God, like, I didn't like the way he made me. So with all that said, I understand, people will want to do things differently. If you want to look prettier, if you want to do something differently, okay, that is normal, that is natural, that is a human thing to do. As I speak, like I've talked about my nails, okay, I like, right now there's nothing on them, but I like when it's like a little tint of pink, it just looks cleaner, neater, and just better to me. So I do that at times, but I won't, wear red. So like when I do things, and the things that I do is like the nail polish and, my lips, when I put chapstick, and the reason why I wear chapstick is, I know when I was little, like I used to like lick my lips a lot when they were dry and it was winter time. And so I would do it over and over. I think it was like a particular day that I did it, and I hadn't. And so then I took all the moisture from my lips, and then it, like I had like the dark circle. I don't know if anyone have ever seen that, but I had like the dark circle all around because it had cracked and it had broken up, and it was like just bruised and battered. And so then when it healed, after that, like I needed chapstick all the time. Like my lips would become so dry that it was hard, or it is even till today hard for me to speak. And so like I have to carry chapstick. And even my aunt, like she knows, like if I forget, like she has it in her bag for me, and I will have to literally purchase it because I'm like miserable for the whole day. So I wear chapstick for that reason, because it's like a deformity. I did that somehow to myself when I was little, and I've been like that ever since. But when I do wear chapstick, I wear certain ones, right? So I wear Blistex, which has that cooling effect and it's really relieving. It's wonderful. But when I wear lip gloss, I do like to wear one with a little bit of tinge because being dark, my lips tend to be a bit darker, and I don't like that. Yes. So I am saying, God, why didn't you make me with like a bit of a pinker shade of lips, like, because I think it's cute, it's pretty, right? So if I buy chapstick or lipstick, I like to put a little bit of tint on it, but I won't do it to the extent where it's like everyone's like focused. As soon as they see me, they see my lips, and you know that this is true. There are certain people with makeup, right? It takes away from you looking at their whole face, and you tend to look at whatever is their pronouncing, like whatever is like standing out. Like if it's their eyelashes, they have fake eyelashes, like you tend, as you look at them as they talk, your eyes always go to their eyelashes because you're like why, or that's a lot, or isn't that a bit too much, right? And then you, in your mind, you're thinking like blue lips, or those are some eyelashes, or look at her eyebrows, right? Or even when people color their hair, like, I remember, a certain person, when I spoke to him, like my eyes just kind of drifted to this hairline because it was like you could tell, and he was really good about it. And he's like, why are you looking at my hairline? And so, but it calls attention. And I think that's one of the reasons why we should, as Christians, take care not to call attention to ourselves in that manner, because the people of the world, those who are not Christians, they do the same thing, right? And they do it for whatever reason, maybe the same reason we do it. Well, not we, I don't do it, but so that's one of the reasons why I feel Christians should have a certain look. And I love the fact that someone will stop me on the street and ask me, are you a Christian? Just because I look like one. Many Christians, they don't like that, and even myself as a Seventh-day Adventist, some people would say, are you a Seventh-day Adventist? And I'm like, well, of all the religions, why that one? Why do you choose to ask if I am Seventh Day? And I'm thrilled. I'm like, I represent my religion. Yay. And then if there's a conversation to be had, I can talk to them about my Christ and tell them how happy I am in my faith and how wonderful God has been to me. And I think that's what it's about. It's about calling attention to God, not to yourself, because it's not about you. It's about what God has done for you and how far He's brought you. And it's not, by your own works that you will be saved. It's by God's. So in any way, shape, or form that you're able to call attention to your Father in heaven, you should do it. But if the attention is on you and what you're doing, then it's not really good, right? Because they're not going to ask you about your God. They're going to ask you about you, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I don't wear makeup. As in, again, I say, like, I'm not perfect. I do wear, like, the nail polish and like the lip gloss or chapstick that's a bit, tinted. And I think that's like passable. It's not perfect. Okay. Cheerio.